Shanti. I was giving Sister Meera the theme, am I moving towards total surrender or am I total surrender? Because my experience recently had been that the sacredness of life really is in surrender. Even there is purity in our lives because Brahmins live a pure life, but just life becomes really sacred when it is offered. Because there are two meanings of word samarpan. One is we say surrender, but other is offer. The word sacredness says that even in Lokik world, in different religions, but especially in Indian tradition, when while worshipping, a devotee will offer fruits or whatever, and let's say a lot of fruits are offered, but then later on, even one banana cut into 10 pieces, and people will just say this is offered one, and they take that one little piece with so much bhavana, with so much love. Now what's the difference? One can eat one full banana, but to have a little piece also they feel, it's because it has become holy, it has been offered, so it's sacred. So I was thinking that it is important for each one of us as Baba's child to just think thoroughly on what is being total surrender. And I don't think it's any one of you need to think that am I surrender or not. I think everyone is surrendered. Surrender is not that you leave everything and come and say, okay, I've come with my baggage and I'm surrendered now. Or surrender is not just because I'm not doing anything in Lokik world. Sometimes the definition of surrender is seen in that way. But I find that when there is recognition of Baba, God as Baba, Baba as God, as soon as there is recognition, then these feelings naturally come of belonging. It's deeply like we start feeling that I belong to Baba. This is my family. And this is the task I would want to take as my assignment of life. It's like very close feelings for yagya, towards yagya. Offering and belonging, these are two internal feelings which come that I belong, so I offer. And that really is what is not just one day, one moment of life, but when you have offered, then to be trusty. I remember listening to many stories from Yagya in the beginning when they used to talk about surrender. In a sense, they just dedicated their lives in the beginning. Many came and Yagya was formed like a big bhatti. But the success of each one who just completely belonged to Baba, even physically and in all different respects, were depended on many different qualities. And that is why even this thought that am I trustee or I am surrender, it could be you are trustee, you are surrender, and then you have to live as a trustee. Take few examples from Brahma Baba's life that first, for Brahma Baba, the big surrender was allowing God to use his body. It's quite a, it looks very privileged and honor and everything, but just imagine, soul has very little space and that also you rent or you share. It's very little space here, and that also a bigger almighty authority, great soul says, I also want to occupy this with you. When I think even the sensation of that, as Daddy was mentioning, that for us even to share rooms sometimes these days, it's like we wish, oh, I could be alone in the room and more space. And here how Brahma Baba shared that inner space. And not only shared, but he respected Baba so much in the sense of that in 33 years of his combined role, he never made his guest feel unwanted. Never. He could come anytime, anytime. Even for us, if someone comes little late, you have a guest and you say, oh, it's disturbing my sleep, Why this guest came when I'm eating? And as you all know that the role, that means when Shiv Baba, Avyak Bab Dada come in the Gulzar, it's like she goes in trance and few hours sitting. But with Shiv Baba coming in, Brahma Baba used to be like any action he is doing and you could just feel now Shiv Baba is there. Because quickly, like we used to feel it. I have so many experiences that while playing sometimes, while eating sometimes, while he was walking in the courtyard, we'll give drishti. Whom are you meeting? Say, Baba, no. Bab Dada. Mother and father. And we knew that that's the time he is kind of reminding us. Even while speaking Murli or when we used to listen Murli, I remember always sat in front, always since I am young student, and I just felt like when Baba will come, what my gross eyes, of course, one is through divine eye, but gross eyes will also see. Like if you have a 40 voltage, 60 voltage bulb, and then suddenly you put on 100. For a second you feel that flash, like there's more light. And that 1 second thing used to happen, like I used to see that suddenly bigger light has come. Used to be. But I was thinking that they must have formed such a beautiful relationship that they were together, and his faith that, as I said, he allowed not only to occupy that space, but also then he started giving all directions for his life. You say, okay, you have a guest here, now that he wants to dominate your life. He wants to tell what to do, not to do, all the time. But then first thing what Baba did, as you have many times heard history of Yajna, is that whatever, like he formed, a small trust was formed of 8 kanyas. And I think out of those 8, 5 or 6 are still in body, these dadis. They were teenagers at that time. And then everything, whatever were Baba's belongings, was given to this trust. And after that, the beauty was that even directions were given how to use it, all that. But Baba never said two words which never really we heard. Never, I and mine. And that's really quality of true surrender, that I and mine. Many of us are surrendered, but we say, oh, I surrendered this. I was this, now I am this. I gave this to Baba, I'm doing service for Baba. Never Brahma Baba used word I. He used to say this Baba and that Baba. It's a deep within, so total surrender really means you internally keep seeing that how many times a day I didn't get, my idea didn't get accepted. I didn't, my I and my, this game inside is played so often. And if we pay attention like today, tomorrow, just go deep within and say, why again this I came now? You will find that lot of wasteful thinking, invitation to Maya, making Maya our companion once in a while is I and mine. What I am, what is mine. I not only of weaknesses, but I of even your specialities. That's why I liked it was, I think yesterday, so many sessions have happened. And I was with the IT group. It's a beautiful group, as you know, all really experts, young ones, experts on computer. We're trying to put together a team so that globally we create a very high standard of our presentation. And that he was sharing that how whatever, I think I shared last night also, that I was so touched that whatever I am today is because Baba looked at my qualities, specialities. So where is question of I? Where is question of I? And mine. So so that means allowing Baba to enter in my life. Each one of us, we are individually so private, like, oh, this is my personal. But nothing remains personal once God enters in our life. What is personal? We share now. Baba and I share life, no? So when I and Baba sharing life, so how can I just say, no, this is mine, or no, we don't. And that is where the next step, next experience which begins is that whatever you're becoming instrument for is not your desire. It's not coming from your desire. But it's really coming from, it's like you are given that chance, you are given that assignment. I was trying to think of both ways, some of my experiences, and of course, I have to say mine here, and also Brahma Baba's experiences, that when suddenly this total belonging, sharing in life comes, and that's the time everyone's assignment begins on Baba's direction. Do I decide what part I have to play, or my part is given by Baba to me? It's very interesting to see that what part. And then you feel so happy because it's not you have asked for something, it's not you have desire. And then you yourself come to know even of your specialities, because Baba identified those specialities. If I am aware of my own specialities, that comes from ego because they are mine. Other is that the way you are given assignments in whatever way. And then you say, but oh, I didn't know that I could be instrument for something like that. Then you start becoming aware, and then of course more surrender happens. If this is what God is going to do in my life to keep identifying my specialities, I allow Him to do more, no? Why have to sing my own praise or try to identify my own specialities? Just keep watching which one. So desire also, remember last year or 2 years ago, Dadiji was taking class that even desire for service, we said, but that's a good desire, no? She said, no, if you really stay, and that's what I have also experienced, that if you stay in remembrance, as Dadi Janki said this morning, either service will come to you or you will be taken where the service is. Once there was Brahmin Christmas party on, and I thought, I take my plate, and I went in a corner and I said, because I like to kind of eat in silence, and I try best because I find that I feel much better that way. So I sat in the corner, and that day a new doctor was visiting and he was invited. Can I come and sit and chat? So I thought it will take few minutes and someone other come. It never happens, honestly never happens that there is no service. And only what I do is just be with Baba. And it's a very deep thing internally. Why I'm saying it, because there shouldn't be any kind of internal suffering. I want this, it's not happening, it should be like this, that, oh my goodness. When I listen to these things and I say, but where this soul is now? All the time into this struggle, because there is no surrender of I and mine. One time Dadi Janki said, even some people, oh, my time is wasted. She said, it's not your time. There's also subtle ego. You sit in a meeting and you find, sometimes maybe didn't come to some conclusions, or say, oh, I don't like this because my time is wasted. She says, it's the ego, it's your time. Because then if I say, if I am surrendered, then it's not my time, isn't it? Yes, aim is always there, desire is not there. When there is aim, then attributes come. When there is aim, there is power. But when there is desire, subtly, then there is struggle. So this is what happens, that within surrendered life, as much Baba comes in my life, and then, as I said, that our beautiful specialities, which even we are not aware that, oh, I can do it, I didn't know. And when you have done, and then you say, oh, that's very good. So as I said, then you surrender more internally. And one of the quality which you all must have heard from the lives of Baba and Mama was, Brahma Baba is with Shiv Baba and Mama is with Brahma Baba, was the quality which some people feel is quite kind of strong, is obedience. And that obedience was from high respect. Yes, ji haan. Ji haan doesn't come, okay, I will do it. And then you make your face and still do it, but you're not happy to do it. No, we always say ji haan. So some ask me how long I should keep saying ji haan. I said, you say it, all the time say it and see the change. Everyone will say, because this one says ji haan, they will think 10 times before they even tell you to do something, because they know you're going to say yes anyway. So then it becomes responsibility of one who is saying, asking you to do something, then you are responsible. But this internally, this quality, in surrendered life, the quality is ji haan. So if you say sometimes maybe I'm not able to do, then, and that's where I remember that my relationship with Dadis. Even yesterday, Dadi Janki said, this is what I feel, and she expected something, and so I said, okay, I will consider it. She said, take time, a day or two, but first is yes, why not? And then you open it and say, well, these are things, still I am very open. So some say, okay, then that means I shouldn't use my intellect. But after saying yes, using intellect doesn't mean again you become negative or struggle. Using intellect is, I am honest that these are my assignments within these few weeks. I have committed already, and this is what you want, and still it's a choice. Wherever I will be, it's Baba's service, no? Why should I think if I am here there was no service, if I am there is more service? So, very honestly, this is what has been planned, and whatever. And it's such a beautiful relationship of trust. Because if you're going to say no, other person also thinks 5 times that, should I go to this one, say or not? But if you're smiling, say yes, yes. So ji haan is like Mama, Baba Mama used to sit like two, like we have these gaddis. Every time Baba will say, Mama, theek hai na, is it like this? Say, ji Baba. It was very lovely, sweet relationship. Respectful and very loving and sweet relationship is also an experience of Brahmin life. Because when there is that understanding, there is love, respect, then it becomes very easy, very natural. So deeply within, when I think of, I always think of Brahma Baba's and Shiv Baba's relationship, and I think of my relationship with Shiv Baba, and I try to see how they meshed it, how obedient he was. Even he was so experienced. Brahma Baba was so experienced in life, in Lokik world, in business world, in many different ways. He was very experienced person. But that experience is not what comes useful into Brahmin life. No? Some of them say, oh, I have experiences from my past life, but what are we doing with that? He didn't allow that experience to come into the reasoning. Since intellect will always be used, no power to discern will continue, but your reasoning is based on understanding which Baba gives. You don't allow the reasoning to be your old way of thinking. Old way of thinking, one is through mind, another is old way of thinking through intellect also, no? How Baba would want me to think. Power to discern, the power which has come from Baba, from knowledge, from yoga. Based on that, you still use power to discern, means we have to use. So it's not surrender means many say, oh, I shouldn't use intellect. But the way you use intellect, so that's deeply within the quality of acceptance and jiha, and seeing that there is always some benefit in that, is deeply within coming out of this sanskar, of any kind of struggle, any kind of struggle. I remember that in Baba's Sakar Baba's relationship, myself and with Bab Dada in Sakar, like Baba always gave me bigger assignment than I can even think of. So once there was a big international conference in Calcutta, and it was Diwali time, like October, and they had said 4 minutes if a speaker can come. So Dadi Nirmal Shanta, as you know, is in charge there. So she had to sit on the stage, and I would have, because it was international and very few BKs spoke English at that time. So Baba always looked at me, and one thing I had difficulty was to think of traveling. Just imagine, one of my thing was I loved home, in the sense of wherever I am. I am not a person, people say, let's go and see this, or travel. I knew from very beginning that's what I will have to do, because the way I used to get programs, every week, even when I was in India, I have to get in the train every week. And that's one thing I said, no, I don't want to go in train. There was Diwali, then I think body was not too well, so I just thought for 4 minutes to go 32 hours of train trip, to go and come back without any bookings, because it was just suddenly. So I just decided I'm not going. On the other side, I was a little bit brave in the sense of, so I sent the message to them that I won't be able to make it, but they didn't get it. So they must be waiting. So Baba came to know. And Baba said something, I think it must be almost more than half a page of Murli next week. Now you don't read my name. They used to give even my name in Murli. But it was very interesting that, that's why this morning, or when Dadi Janki said, if you cannot take teaching sweetly, how can you be? If you feel teachings bitter, when you are told something, how will you become sweet? I was very touched, and I was reminded, and I had to read Murli in class, and it's about me. But what he put in me was that self-respect. He said that government ministers and big officials, they fly in and out, do their work, and they come back. And my daughters yet doesn't have that much, dignity. They don't have that recognition of their own role. So he said many things. And I really took it in the sense of that this is what I need to do. I didn't feel bad too, because I didn't have that strength, or anyway, I didn't do it. But whatever he spoke, it got printed in me deeply. And so what he was actually trying to create in me, that look how such a big opportunity you are presenting, Baba, in front of few thousand people, and here you just only thinking, how can I go in the train, and little physical factors. And I had temperature, fever. So Baba says 102 degrees temperature, and children say, we're not going for service. Says only 102 degrees fever, and daughter saying that I am sick, so I cannot, body is sick. And I know after that I travel in 103 degrees temperature. Because it's like how everything he did was increase that self-dignity and how to follow it. A lot of learning happened. Because many years the same Murli was read with the name. And I knew this date this year, now this is again Murli is going to repeat. And I used to just be strong and read it in the class myself and feel very good that at least God can say, He spoke so long for me. So it's a good lesson. Many, but then as I'm saying that, I start knowing that what Baba wants, and after, like when Baba became Avyakt, I'm not really, I don't write poems and all kinds of things, but I felt so inspired. First time when Baba became Avyakt, they invited 14 sisters who were next to Dadis, in the sense of we were senior in, even we were young, like in 20s, but also in knowledge. So 14 of us were invited first time, and we start sharing, feeling our more responsibility towards Yajna, that now Baba is awake, so we should come more forward and help in whatever way Yajna needs, because Dadiji was here, and we came to give our hand. And that time I just wrote a poem, and I just said that I would say no and be carefree. And I now know that to say yes and be carefree. And I remember after that, until now, my really aim had been, and I should say there had been a big changes. Yes, why not? And that is where miracles and wonders of what God can do, how He takes care than what I would have taken care of myself. One time I was in Dubai, and they, like until 3 in the morning, like there was a lot of service, and I had to catch plane in the morning, and I could hardly just get at airport, got in the plane. And when I got in the plane, and so they looked at me and they said, we want to put you in first class. So I said, yeah, it's okay, wherever you put me, just put me, because I knew our next thing is I'm going to just fall down. There was so much physically drainage. And I just went in and I just slept, and I got up and I said, it was like I was in lap of Baba. So many experiences that when you say, Ji haan, He wants to give you some powers, He wants to give you some gifts, He wants to offer something, and we don't take it. It's really His offering coming in that. So on one side, as I said, surrender doesn't mean you don't use intellect. You do use, you have a reasoning. But also this quality, it's a lot of humility, natural humility comes when you just say, yes, Baba. If I have planned something, I want to go ahead and do it. But if I am giving direction, then I always have some reasons. It should be other way around always, no? So surrender deeply, deep surrender is where God fills in you so many His qualities and His powers. Because I don't have, assignment He's giving me, I haven't done it in my life ever. And I'm not capable, as if I think of my Lokik way. But if Baba is saying it, let me see what He is offering. And now I just say, yes, let's see what He is offering. He has a lot to offer to us. But I have already said no, and He has a big package sitting for me. He sends it back, the undelivered, undelivered package goes back to the sender. It does happen, no? So go deeper at this time of confluence ages. It's not much time. I had never talked much on this, not much, but I don't know, since within 1 year, 1.5 years, I just feel that we don't have much time. We have very short time. Let's be complete. Let's do whatever little is left to become complete. We have done a lot. But if whatever little is left, if we don't do, and that will come from what I am receiving from Baba, not from my efforts. Receiving is not just love. Receiving is, that's where becoming like Baba, that personality emerge. This whole question of being like Baba, surrender, complete, and be like Father. So that is, because they were with Brahma Baba, so they saw. So it's easy, they remember Baba said this, Baba looked at this, Baba. I was with Brahma Baba too for almost 11 years. So I'm saying one of that benefit. But now, because many of you have come when Baba is awake, but awake Baba also has these offerings for us. Just imagine that if you're doing something and you said it was from Baba's power, Baba's love, now that quality which you are experiencing is, when others will experience, they will know it's not your love. When you talk, it's God's love experienced from you. You understand? Because that quality hasn't come through your efforts. That quality has come because you are surrendered and a trustee. It has come directly from Baba. Let's say courage. There are certain things you don't have courage. Means you have a lot of courage, but maybe not for that situation. And if you keep courage, and then when the power comes, it's from Baba. Help comes, is from Baba. So whatever you become instrument for, others will immediately feel that there is something from God here. Because He shared power with you. You understand? It's a little subtle thing. That what He is giving you in saying Hanji, or understanding of, going beyond what He doesn't want us to go through. It's like Baba keeps giving these invisible gifts to us. And that in your personality is like becoming like Baba. I had a very good experience this morning when I was sitting here and listening to class, and suddenly whole topic of what it means to be like Baba start becoming clear, and I started writing points. Today is not that theme. But one of aspect which became clear, that anything which is not just through my efforts, but which comes from Baba, that means you're doing more than what your efforts are. Then Baba comes in and say, child won't be able to do, I have to do it. And then He leaves that personality at that time within you. One time in RCOs, there was discussion, and beautiful thing came up was that we can have 8 powers, but they are not God's powers, they are your powers. Tolerance and patience and all these powers. And it was mentioned at that time that very few are able to receive God's power. You understand the difference? So God's power come only in that total faith, in that total surrender, in that total trustee. I'm doing every action. Baba has to come in my life so many times, come in my life in the sense of act with me, because He has to add something which I do not have to make me complete and get the task done. So it's double. That means if you do not do that, then Baba's power, and if you do it, then you become incomplete. But task is also being done. You understand the difference between just doing service. Everyone likes to do service. And I say, why are people just running around for service? Service has to come. Where Baba also is with me in service. And then every little big, whatever service you are able to do is making you complete and also making you like Baba, because in that liking of Baba you did it. And because it came from Baba, you did it. Because of that, lot of Baba's power, God's power, was shared with you. It's very subtle, but it's something very, very beautiful. And I sometimes feel when I look at Brahmins and I say, and I wish each one can have at least some of these experiences. We have, but we generally talk of when there was this situation, it was okay, Baba helped me. It's like in bhakti, That's what we did in relationship with God in bhakti. Always take help, always Baba, God please. And I don't necessarily enjoy that relationship. Our relationship now is we are heirs. We are Baba's heirs now. Relationship of an heir and the master is a different relationship. So it's not I'm always using God's power when there is a situation, there was difficult time, this, oh Baba help me. I was so tired, bus was not coming, bus came, oh Baba sent the bus. I rather tell Baba, wait, I can wait for bus, give me help some other time. I don't want to use your services for bus coming or rain coming or it's all right, you remember at least Baba. I asked my teacher, Didi that do you think that when we remember, then clouds come or whatever is needed? She said, we shouldn't think of that, but at least we remember. No, that's good. So one is, of course, we always think in our life situation, in settling karmic accounts, we bring Baba in life. But other is in your assignment, in your role at Confluence Age, using God's power is different than only helping yourself in the sense of, body was not well, so Baba helped, this happened, then Baba helped. It's all right, that will also happen. But deeper, my respectful, it's a very royal relationship. It's a very good, that it's such a high relationship with God in that it should be used, God's power, as I said, courage to do something, or courage, there is something which you need to do. And if that's when God's power comes, and it's for Baba's task. Same is tolerance. You can use for yourself day and night. But I feel tolerance is only when there is Baba's task. Sometimes there could be whatever reason there is. And when you're using that power for task, then it's different marks, different energy. So surrender really means to create this very partnership. It's a kind of sharing relationship. One time, Dadi Gulzar had to go somewhere, and Dadiji didn't want it really that she should go suddenly. So she said, okay, ask Baba. She said, I already asked. And then she said, I knew he won't say no to me. No, that's a very lovely relationship to think he won't say no to me, because she always says yes. So I always remember, if I say yes 5 times, he will say yes 10 times. There are some, they do Amrit Vela, they do yoga, do sit for so many hours. Still for little things there is no power. Because that current which should come is only come when there is this relationship formed. So surrender really means my relationship with God at this time, based on recognition of who He is, why I decided to belong to Him, and what I have to do now. So that's where, as I said, not only you receive God's power, but God's becoming like Baba really comes from that also. Because that comes like from your personality, then those qualities when others will experience, they won't think of you. But that will bring them closer to Baba. How do we know? It's like you do something, and if souls say, "Oh, you did this," it's not a big thing. But they start thinking, "Oh, look at Baba must have got this done through her." Reminding souls of Baba, not my influence. That's the worst thing one can do, is to create that influence on anyone. But through our every thought, word, action, souls feel closer to Yagya, closer to Baba, closer to family. And just imagine inside of us, then there is so much comfort, there is so much security, there is so much peace, it's totally richness. You are so full with this relationship. Because even in Lokik life's fulfillment is in relationship, no? We know that if you had good sustenance from parents, good teacher in your life, you had a good friends in your life, so you look at that person, you know that this person doesn't have trouble in relationship. Same is in Brahmin life. First our trouble is in relationship with Baba, and then trouble in relationship with others. Otherwise, why should there be any conflict? I mean, I don't remember very many things where I don't have any conflict with any. It's all right, whatever everyone's part is, or where you need to be detached observer, where you need to help. If your souls don't accept help, it's like just being sensible. And we know that there is enough open highways for each one to be on pilgrimage without causing accidents. We're not hitting each other for what? We're not competing with each other. Everyone has one's own part. Blossom with that part which you have to play. So that sweetness, this morning I was also touched when it came, that sweetness which comes, but anger and frustrations and all that is because there is still the relationship with Baba is not as it should be. Like we say, when Amrit Vela is good, whole day is good, no? And when you have this lovely relationship of understanding with Baba, that quality then goes into your day-to-day relationship with anyone. It's a very good record. It's necessary to have a good record of this soul's relationship. It's beautiful with everyone. But getting into trouble with here, conflict here, seeing defects of someone, saying things for each other, this is very Shudra quality. It's not even Brahmin quality. And here we are becoming deities now from Brahmins. So I definitely would say to think thoroughly on your relationship with Baba. That recognition, that receiving, that, tomorrow when you sit in Amrit Vela, that's, just that surrendered kind of, okay, I belong to Baba. I have to just receive and I have to share. I'm not sharing what I have to share what he shares with me in life. But if you have any difficulty, because I think that's where past is healed, if you had trouble because of whatever reason in relationships, how will you get healed? Maybe that's still sitting, that's why you get upset, get angry, get all this, because somewhere in the past you had difficulties with relationships. Now we're not like other psychologists or therapists will say, go back in past, go back. And here Baba says, forget past. And they say, no, go back in past and see where, what happened. But what here we do is to look at, I feel, whatever we didn't had in life, When we belong to Baba, we have that opportunity. And one is a good record of having good relationship. But start with Baba. Then time, then nature, everyone around. With your own self even, why you put yourself in trouble too. So that relationship is something. Some say, oh, I couldn't go for higher education because this. I said, but you're getting higher education now. They still keep complaining about they couldn't get education. My parents couldn't send me to college. I said, but you are in university now. God has given you chance to have higher studies now. Why are you thinking you didn't have in the past? Some now after becoming Brahmin want to study because they say those who have more study, maybe they're doing more service. So you have parents, good relationship, you have teacher, good relationship, you have a God as friend, have good relationship. Sort out all the relationships which you think didn't work for you because of whatever karmic accounts, but you have here one. See how friendly we can be, how honest we can be with Baba. And as much you are with Baba, that's manifest in your every thought, word, and action. There is no separate, it's not separate that I have to do it with the souls. Somebody says, I'm good with Baba, but not with, I say, I don't believe it. Because what I am receiving should be in the being, no, should be in the personality. So surrender, as I said, is something very sacred, and of course different challenges, different tests, but I mean that will always, life is, I don't know without challenge and all that what it will be like. Like if I'm in a routine, whatever I am doing on regional level, if I don't get new, every year I go and I know there are a few more assignments, and you accept as a challenge. You don't say, I'm busy, I can't take any more. I say, okay, sure. It's a new dimension which will come in my... Baba is putting something more into the being, why I shouldn't accept it. So this deeply within relationship with Baba heals the past, sort out the past, forget, that way you even forget the past because you don't remember. It's not all the time you say, past is past, then it comes back. But if you do not have some experience from present, which is so overwhelming that you don't even remember past. If you had something very cheap, and you get something very beautiful, you forget, you say, I don't even want to think about it. So our experiences with Baba, and that also relationship with Baba as friend, as companion, as partners, as parents, as teacher, as follower, actually sorts out so many, and then it becomes very easy. That surrender means there is no struggle. In Lokik world also, when there is two people in confrontation, two parties at war, one decide to surrender. That means it's end of war, no? For some, surrender means beginning of war. No? It shouldn't be like that. It should be deeply within total freedom from conflict and confusion, as this morning was mentioned. And then sadness and laziness which follows. So just imagine you are with Baba, we all are with Baba just for short time, and not highest on high, purest, sweetest, dearest, loveliest. In his company, I have to be colored completely in his company. And if not now, who else and when? It's a kind of even first opportunity, but last in the kalpa, no? That also I always think of that if I cannot be what I should be when I'm with God, who else will help me? If I can't get help from God, who else? Which soul will help? Yeah, we get inspired listening to others. We inspired to listening to churnings. We inspired listening to experiences. That's something else. But the power has to come from Baba, no? That is explain us so that our understanding is clear. Methods are given, methods are shared, so that we have more clarity. But then power still has to come from Baba. So surrender here is really that total relationship, all relationships with Baba, so that my intellect and my mind is always governed into those qualities which I experience from Baba in every relationship. That richness in our life is important. Then the wisdom which Baba shares, and so many secretly keep sharing, very secretly keep sharing. As I said, so many, I always say packages, bonus, just list it. So much offerings come because I have offered myself. I have offered only once, and his offerings are one after another, one after. And we could just those offerings. That's why when Dari said you don't need effort, I used to tell her, but we need effort. And now I changed word. I said, oh, we can live on offerings from Baba. So one is effort, other is offering. So word surrender means I offer and live on offerings from Baba. So now we will sit with Baba and create that, get into that feelings of I being God. As I said, each one is surrender because each one has listened to Baba, followed purity, left many connections. When everyone has taken many steps, but only internally something needs to be worked on. And I think that's creating that relationship with Baba, understanding of him into that royalty, into that quality, into that almighty being. So that when Baba looks at the child and he said, I am proud of every child, but his drishti can stay on me. So this comes from really your deep feelings. And that's why one thing at least I take care of, that not allow my feelings to be touched. Once your feelings are touched, you are sensitive, feelings are touched, you break inside. It's like a glass and cracks come. Just keep my feelings so protected. Situation or people sanskar shouldn't touch my feelings, because you are breaking inside. You are like cracks come inside. That's why but feeling should be just for Baba, towards Baba, and of course externally. So all these little things which still internally, externally we have to deal it, how long? And then we are at service, and when we are at service and we still have all this, just imagine how little service can happen. And we want more service to happen. That can only happen if that total surrender of that lovely relationship comes from Baba, where yes, I say yes to Baba, Baba says yes to me, and we get along very well. Then he says, oh, all these are my children. I said, okay, I love everyone. If I say, no, I don't love this one, he will say, we can't, no, this is not right. It's like people marry and one has 3 children, other has 3. So if then they become common parents, so there has to be love for all six, no? So you come to Baba, that becomes the biggest thing. He says, I am not alone, I have 600,000 with me. So he said, but we love you, we don't know about 600,000. He said, no, I come together with my whole, he has 600,000, 900,000, or then he says, whole world, they are also my children. And if you want to be my partner, you have to love everyone. Say, but that's difficult with souls, because they're sanskars, all that. Said, but they are my children, you have to accept them also. Baba's hope that each child should become like me can be easily fulfilled. So we'll just share a few thoughts, not much, and then we go in silence. The greatest fortune is that I don't have to be I, but I could belong. And totally surrender. I and mine. And then share the responsibility with God. As I offer myself with recognition and very deep, eternal and true love emerging, in this relationship with God. One who is ever pure, unlimited, bestower. Just very real. As I belong to Baba, to experience the sweetness of all relationships with Baba. Baba is my parents, teacher and guide, a loving friend and companion. Whom I can trust 100%. In this trust and with faith, this one life shared with God. And God sharing His life with me. So that Baba's sanskars as ocean of love and peace, knowledge and bliss, also inherited by me, so that I can be the master. I allow Baba to be with me as an instrument so that I can claim Baba's is mine and Baba is mine. I and my changes into this beautiful right which I claim. When I say, Baba, everything, including me, and belong to you, that's the moment Baba also says, Everything I have belongs to you. Baba has all powers. And I can always receive and use them. I'm holding just Baba, Baba's love, Baba's powers. Everything from the past finishes totally. So that I can constantly receive every moment. It's such sweet and lovely relationship.